All right, a lot of people are talking shit about Israel Adesanya, the champ, the style bender, one of the best goddamn fighters on the planet. And that's a fact. Look, listen, UFC 276 went down. Israel Adesanya went out there, defended the belt for a 6th time against Jared Cannonier, a man that was the rightful #1 contender. The Vanilla Gorilla has knockout power, great takedown defense. The man's a tough fight for anybody on the goddamn planet. And Israel Adesanya beat him fair and square and made it look kind of easy. Now, the criticism is that he was coasting. Okay, and I get that, and I even said a little bit myself. I said I would have liked to have seen a more sense of urgency to finish. However, the reality is that when you're in there, it's a game of inches or centimeters or millimeters. Okay, one little mistake and everything can go wrong. And yeah, sure, granted, I did say he played it a little bit safe, but you got to understand what's going on in there. Now, a lot of people, they're coming after Israel. They're talking a lot of shit. Chris Pratt, the actor, came out. He basically said, you know, that he wasn't impressed with his performance. And then Israel Adesanya had the greatest comeback ever. He came out and he showed a scene from a movie where Chris Pratt's walking down and walking up to James McAvoy, and he says, I'm the man, I'm the man. And McAvoy slaps him in the face. He says, no, I'm the man, you're just a fan. Adesanya tweeted that. Chris Pratt came out and said, yep, you're right, I'm a hypocrite. I shouldn't be doing that. I hate people that critique my work, and I shouldn't have done the same to you. Okay, and then Sam Neill, the actor from New Zealand, best known for, well, he's been in many, many movies from the Jurassic Park franchise. I know he was in the first one anyway. Sam Neill came out and apparently talked a bit of shit, went after Israel Adesanya, but it came out this week that was a lie. That was a fake, and some idiot plonker was impersonating Sam Neill. But it's not just the best Hollywood actors. It's not big A-list celebrities that are also attacking Adesanya, the champ, the style bender. Henry Cejudo, a 2 weight division champion, he's talking a little bit of shit as well. And I'm not sure what his motivation is or why he's doing that. But he said basically, Izzy's fights are lame, Izzy's fights are boring, okay? Cejudo, listen, love you, buddy. I want to see you back in the Octagon, but come on. The man's going to be on his 7th title defense, something that whilst you were a double champ, an Olympic champ, and a hell of a fighter, I love your persona, I love the cringe, I love what you bring to the Octagon, but come on, man, you're not in a position to talk shit about Israel Adesanya. Israel provides a tremendous amount of entertainment inside the Octagon. I'm a big fan, okay? Look at what he did ever since he came to the sport. He set out his stall. He said what he was gonna do. He marked his territory. He pissed on the Octagon. He pissed people off, and he knocked a lot of people out. Look at what he did to Robert Whittaker the first time out. Essentially knocked him out on 2 occasions, okay? Ended the first round, started the second, finished the job. Sealed the deal is what I was meant to say. Against Paulo Costa, that was one of the most vicious beatdowns ever, and one of the most vicious post-fight celebrations we ever saw as well. The less said about that one, the better. But yeah, listen, Izzy's the man. Izzy's fantastic. Not every single fight can you go out there and beat the shit out of your opponent, beat him from pillar to post, and put on the best fight you've ever seen, a spectacular knockout. Now, I know what you're going to say. The problem is, and I'm assuming this is what a lot of you are going to say, because I see it. I see what people say in the comments and on Twitter and online. They said the problem is that Izzy goes out there every time and promises a masterpiece. He said that against Cannonier. This was going to be like Anderson Silva versus Forrest Griffin. No, of course it wasn't. It was a relatively one-sided decision. Okay, and it wasn't the most amazing fight. It certainly didn't replicate Anderson versus Forrest Griffin. But that's okay. What do you want him to say? He's so boring, blah, 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 blah. Do you think he's going to go out there and say, hey, I'm going to take my time in this one. I'm going to be very strategic. I'm going to make sure that I leave the Octagon with my brain still intact. I don't want to lose any brain cells. I don't want to take any damage. I don't want to get hit in the face. I don't want any broken bones, cuts, lacerations. I want to be just as pretty when I walk out as what I was when I walked in. I'm going to play it safe. I'm not saying he played it safe. Listen, we all want finishes. We all plan on doing that. We all envisage a masterpiece. When we walk into the octagon prior to it, you know, when we're training, we're confident. Sparring's going well. We feel that we can beat anybody on the planet. But then when you're in there, you're like, whoa, hold on a minute, shit. This is a little bit trickier than what I thought. Maybe I underestimated him. Maybe I overestimated his own ability. I don't think that's the case. For example, I remember when I fought Rashad Evans. When I fought Rashad Evans, I remember watching it back and being frustrated with my own performance, thinking, why didn't I attack more? Why didn't I go for the kill? And then I thought back to the fight and I thought, oh yeah, that's right, because I remember there were so many instances where I could feel the whiff of the punch just missing me, almost knocking me out, almost taking my head off. So it's easy to sit there at home on the couch, in the sidelines, or even yourself think back and go, why didn't I do more? But when you're the one in there, the one that's going to be on the receiving end of a punch, kick, knee or elbow, the one that's going to be damaged, knocked out, lose your belt, reputation tarnished, lose millions of dollars, yeah, that's a little bit different. But still, Izzy has his next opponent. He's fighting Alex Pereira. Okay, he said on his YouTube channel that a date has been booked. He hasn't revealed it, but I'm not surprised. Izzy said that he wanted to fight 3 or 4 times this year, okay? And he took no damage in the last fight, and he's good to go. Alex Pereira took no damage in the last fight, knocked out Sean Strickland very quick. Adesanya criticised Sean Strickland and said, hey, you should have been more focused on your opponent instead of trying to sell a fight with me. And he's right. I think Sean got a little sidetracked talking shit to Israel Adesanya and kind of forgot about the kickboxing threat that Pereira had. And of course, we know the kickboxing threat was good enough to knock out Israel Adesanya in one of the 2 fights that they had. And that's why this fight's so interesting. We all know it. I'm not saying anything new. Pereira has 2 victories over Adesanya in kickboxing fights. One was incredibly close. One ended up with a knockout with Adesanya hitting the canvas due to a left hook. So a lot of people think, well, this is just going to be a kickboxing fight. Okay, Adesanya's going to get beat by Pereira. I don't see it like that. Now, the first kickboxing fight that they had was incredibly close. Adesanya claims he should have won. Close fights, people always claim that, okay? But Pereira got the job done. Second time out, Adesanya says, I was winning until he caught me. Well, again, that's what you would say. So there's nothing wrong with Adesanya saying that. That's what you would say. But my analysis, and I haven't studied Pereira endlessly, but when you look at Adesanya, I said this when I commentated his fight, he is one of the most sophisticated strikers. He sets up so many traps. His reflexes are insane, okay? The ability, the speed, the shots that he can throw, they are delivered so well. He uses feints so well. He's got a great fight IQ, and he's very, very strategic. On top of that, he's tall, he's long. Okay, so there are natural advantages that he has over most of his opponents. He won't have those advantages over Alex Pereira. Okay, he's just as tall, he's probably just as long, and he's also a very good kickboxer that's beaten him twice. But he's rough, he's raw, he's a bit more rugged, he's not as technical as Adesanya. He's not, but he takes more chances. That's why he got that knockout. And he kind of has to, because the way that he fights, he's much more forward. He's a pressure guy, he goes forward, doesn't use his reach as well as Adesanya does. But this is going to be an interesting fight. Adesanya coming into this one, obviously, will feel like Pereira's trying to come and take everything that he's worked for, right? To build the legacy that he has. The riches, the fame, the fortune, the cars, the houses, the jewelry, okay? Pereira is a real threat of taking all that away. But will he do that? I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think between the time of them 2 fighting a long time ago, I think Adesanya has improved so much. When you find at this level in the UFC, you got no choice but to get better. And when you see what can be achieved, the kind of money that can be generated, Adesanya's bank account is flying, okay? He's got endorsements galore. He's got the YouTube channel. He's a dominant champion, okay? Adesanya's got a great life, and he's built that through his Octagon performances. He ain't going to give that up against Alex Pereira. That's why this fight is going to be incredible. I can't wait for it. Early prediction, and this isn't an official, but I think Adesanya probably takes it. I think Adesanya probably wins the rematch once and for all. and then he can finally get rid of the bogeyman. Because it is a bogeyman for Adesanya, even though he won't admit it.
I'm scared. I'm not scared. You're scared.
He's going to be like, oh, for fuck's sake, here he is again. This guy, Pereira, trying to take everything I worked for. Anyway, I see a lot of news stories about Adesanya right now. I know he was pissed off at some of the feedback. Don't be champ. Keep your chin up. Keep doing what you're doing. Pereira, I am excited for this one. Let's go. Subscribe and ring the bell if you haven't done so. Have a good one.